How we going, folks? Back in Coburg I am, as you can't tell, eh? Well, I'm getting excited. I haven't been here for over a week, more than that. And I'm taking out my collies. This is a little one. I'm not going to wait any longer to make him bigger. At the end of the day, you can buy them this size at your local supermarket that are pumped full of anything you can imagine to keep them fresh looking. But these aren't. These are super clean. Gonna make some room in here. Look at that one. Not too bad. Gets better as we go along. I'll start on this end now. I'm taking all these out because I want to get my spring stuff in. The weather is warm, the nights are nice and warm, so we're not really struggling with the cold weather so much. These have got some serious roots and root systems on them. Now, these leaves have been eaten because I haven't dropped any snail bait or caterpillar dust or anything like that. Purely a la naturel. So let me just pick these leaves off the outside and show you the one that's getting the most sun, how well it's performed. Have a look at this little beauty, eh? So these are going to, well, don't worry, those leaves aren't going to waste. They're going straight to the chooks and the sheep at home. Oh! All right, let me just take the soil off. Let's talk about moisture. Even with all the rain we had in the last few weeks, but the last 3 days or 4 days it's been super hot here, so there's been no rain. It's dried up already. Look, really dry. So these plants are sucking the moisture out, and that's a really healthy root system, folks. For those who don't know what I've got here, have never seen this little segment before in the front of our garden centre, we're at 21 to 25 Munro Street, Coburg, and we're planting three raised garden beds with our plugs and seedlings using our planting mix, cocoa fibre, superfood, compost, and obviously black grit and all that stuff. So this is our own special blend. It's literally plant and forget, and literally now I can't forget this anymore because I've got these beauties to take home and cook up a feast. Broccoli and cream cheese on it and feta cheese on it in the oven. Oh, to die for. Oh yeah, that's going to be nice. I'm going to take out the silver beet too, folks. I'm basically going to take everything out besides the tomato, obviously the capsicum and the pumpkin in the corner there. Get this ready for our spring-summer range. I'm just going to scratch the surface over before I top it up, and I'm adding our planting mix, which has pretty much got everything that you need to add into a garden bed and have these sort of results. But I'm also going to just top it up with a little bit more of our black grit, because as my mother says, you can never have enough black grit in your life, folks. She's channeling me again. To understand the positioning of these garden beds, so you know, as I'm sitting here or standing here, the sun rises from my left-hand side, your right side of the screen, straight over this huge brick wall, which is about 6.5, 7 metres tall. So it gets by the time it gets sunlight on this bed here, it's probably, about midday. So that's pretty late. That's a big malacca in there. We've got some chilies in there. We've got a pumpkin growing in there from memory. What variety? I can't even remember. Here we are. Yep, it is a pumpkin, a blue Hubbard. This lettuce here, because of the collie that we had with the huge leaves, casting a shadow over the top of this lettuce, that's why it's so soft, and that's why the tomato was struggling as well. Well, not struggling, but just not getting enough sunlight. And at the afternoon sun, it gets it over there. So these went in pretty late. This one went pretty late compared to these tomatoes. Same bed, folks, exactly the same bed. This one's taken off like wildfire. This is a beefsteak. And we're going to get to this one in the next episode, which is straight after this one, tomorrow morning, or whenever you're watching it, the next day, and talk about how to clean this plant up. In the meantime, we've got to get these plants out of the ground and make room. Look at this. I can't remember planting a chili or capsicum in here, sitting in the dark. Time to get out. So let's clean this up. Even the broccoli leaves, they're coming out too. Thank God I like my veggies, eh? Wow, there's a lot to eat here. Decided to take this lettuce out as well, folks. It's not going to do any much more. Look at that. This side wasn't getting enough water. Now, I'm going to have a word with my team over here. This is the side that's closest to the tap. Come back, come on, it's okay. All right. They've done a great job here, the team, you know. I've got to take my hat off to them, even though I won't. But, you know, it's the old saying. This bed needs a little bit more hydration, but before we do that, lettuce out of the way. Just chuck it over here. There we are. We're going to top this up with our planting mix. If you haven't tried it yet, folks, you're missing out. Seriously, you are. These are the results that you get from it. Now, this tomato is a big malacca. Now it's time for me to super boost it with a little bit of black grit around the base, and then top dress the whole garden bed with planting mix, because it has sunken down. Have a look. The materials disappeared and the staples were a lot higher. On that side it's okay, but on this side you can see where the staples were here. So it's dropped down about 2 or 3 inches. And that's the weight of the cocoa pith at the bottom. And what have I done? Here we go. Just top. Oh! Okay, you can smell it. The freshness in it. Now, 1 bag is ample as a top dress in the square metre, folks. More than enough. You can see it here. You can see what's happening to the eggplants disappearing. It all fell to one side because I lost my footing there. Anyway, we drag it across. Now, this has been hydrated or been wet because we mix it out on site with all our natural ingredients. So you're not going to see the rice hull in here because it's wet and blending in. But as it dries up, like these beds here, you'll notice the rice hull starting to appear everywhere there. So we've just taken out the veggies out of this bed there. Top dress this one. Let's top dress this one and we start planting. Look at it. This here, beautiful. Look at it, just crumbles away. A little bit of moisture in it. Now this has got 7 or 8 ingredients. Let's see if I can remember them all. Compost, charcoal, cocoa pith, superfood, black grit, rice hulls, cow manure. Somebody help me. There's one more. There's got to be one more. Seriously? Compost, charcoal, cocoa pith, worm castings. There you go, it came to me now. Compost, charcoal, I can't even pronounce it. Compost, charcoal, cocoa pith, worm castings, black grit, superfood, rice hulls, and cow manure. Gotta love it. Special blend. Just the old KFC secret herb and spices. Well, we've got our secret ingredients in here as well. All homemade or locally made. And the proof's in the pudding, folks. Check out my pudding. Maresi is trying to escape. He knows what's coming for him. The Eradicate Eco. I'm planting some thyme in here, folks. So I'm going to put some herbs in these garden beds as well so they stay here forever. And we just plant around them. Here we got kitchen essentials from Renaissance Herbs. Beautiful. Now this is our lettuce leaf basil. This will be available at all good leading garden centres. Each leaf grows the size of a lettuce leaf. A typical leaf like that is one of those, basically, a lettuce leaf like that. So you can divide these quite simply, carefully. The roots aren't very big, so you can easily pull them apart without harm. I'll just put one little batch there. I'll put this one on this side for later on. And I use the cultivator. Remember that. I used the trowel, but I use the cultivator. The trowel will help me dig a hole, but the cultivator just loosens it up nicely around the edges, so it helps the plant to expand its roots a lot easier, a lot quicker as well. And remember, we're going to top dress all these with black grit at the end. There is black grit in the planting mix, but I always like putting a little bit more because, like I said, you can never have enough. Basil's in. This is bunching onions, or onions bunching, continental cucumber, and last, our chives. Beautiful. And that can go in like that as well. And don't forget the black grit, folks. It's only going to improve the uptake of nutrients for your plants. It's a soil amendment fertilizer that balances the release of nutrients to your plants. So the microbes working away and making all that stuff. Don't give too much nitrogen to your plants. Don't give them, a lack of calcium. This will fix all that and your plants will thrive from it. Really see the huge benefits by applying it, and it works almost immediately. There you go, that's all we need to do there. And just a sprinkle of snail bait. This is the last thing. Now these tomatoes, as you can see here, this one here I'm using the garden frame, the tomatoes wire frame, the circular wire frame. But you've seen in my previous episodes at our home garden where I'm using the tomato pegs to train them up some string line. And we'll do more segments on those as the season progresses, so we can show you how to use those tomato picks because they're bloody amazing, just as these are. And they're all available on our website, vasilisgarden.com, for everything you need every day, discounted prices. Our 20% off sale is going to end soon, folks, so take advantage of it. The pegs and the wireframes are available as well. And don't forget your Eco Eradicate snail bait, the only safe snail bait for your garden that's friendly to all the wildlife animals and your family pets. From me, Vasili, Maresi. Bugger me, forgot to water the plants again. I got excited about planting. No water, no life. Don't rely on the rain.